Kia ora, and welcome to Constellations and All That. I'm your host, Tracy Cartwright, and together we will be exploring the world of family constellations with facilitators and clients from around the world, looking at different perspectives and experiences in the work, having a cup of tea and just chatting with some friends around their experiences in constellations. We'd love for you to join us. I hope that you enjoy this series as much as I have loved making it. So if you were meeting someone who'd never heard about constellations, you could go to a friend's barbecue or something like that, and they ask you what you do. How do you describe family constellations?
Yes. I usually said very few words. I would say, well, the best thing is for you to come and join us then, because otherwise it's intellectual, saying little bit, it just doesn't touch us. So usually when people ask me that, I would go, I can't really explain. It's, if you're really interested, come to a workshop or you can watch YouTube or something. It's not possible intellectually to describe. For me, not.
I would say that it's systemic or generational healing. I would say that it's kind of tricky to explain, but very easy to experience. In a group setting, we use the morphogenetic field, which is like that field of intuition, that energy field that I always say, you know how when a flock of birds fly off and they all just go into their murmuration and no one's bumping into each other, that's the morphogenetic field guiding them, and that's what we tap into.
I always like to just really make it really clear that we live in human systems and family systems, and today we don't think about it. We think we're all individuals, but we actually are born into these family systems, and these family systems have natural laws and rules. And when those rules are followed, people tend to be happy, and when those rules are violated, those things are not in order. It causes all kinds of pain and suffering over generations. So I usually talk about as exploration of the way we are living in family systems, and it's a systemic understanding of the work. And we can go back many, many, many generations and see how things that were unresolved continue to cause suffering. I mostly tell people that it's just this way we experience ourselves in systems. And there's a lot of problems these days with that. And we just can explore how we are in a system. And there are ways we can make some repairs so that we're in the system differently, maybe even repair the system a little bit.
My elevator speech, I say constellations is a multi-generational trauma therapy. So what does that mean? Well, we look at the events that have happened in your family system that could still be influencing you now. Most of them are unconscious. Obviously, you're aware of your relationship with your mother and how that's drove you nuts, or your mother was this, or your mother drank. But then, the question is, what happened to your mother? I mean, as we expand into your family, I'd be curious to know, because your mother wasn't just born like that. So what happened? Like if she lost her mother when she was 5, how do you think that event is affecting you? And maybe you're holding something or trying to hold something up for your mother that you're not even aware of.
Quite often, like in my mind, I have that very complicated, very, using the right words to explain what family constellation is. But I've been thinking about that for a long time. And like, if I had to explain it to my daughter, what will I say? And it's pretty much what has happened with your ancestors, so with the people before you, things that haven't been sorted, emotions or issues or some kind of events. They have an impact in your life and you don't even know about it very often. And family constellation helps you to actually bring that to light, have a look at it, honor it, and release it with love and compassion.
One of the things that I like to say is that sometimes we are carrying things that we don't understand or even realize. And the impact of doing, this work is those things can shift quite quickly and quite easily. And what we're doing really as therapists or facilitators, well, as a counsellor, one of the things I'm doing is being a resonant witness, obviously. But the other thing that we do is we are looking to either change perspective or behaviour, the viewing or the doing.
Yeah.
And so when you can talk to people that are, looking for answers, that they can have quite significant shifts by doing some very simple techniques that will give them a greater understanding of, what it is that they're carrying. And the implications of that is that they can feel clearer, have greater understanding, and not to be carrying issues, moving forward.
The way I work with constellation work and what I think it is, it's about working with the energy that lies underneath us, that lies below us. We tend to think that there's two worlds. There's kind of the physical world, and then there's that other spiritual world sort of thing. But actually, the physical world is the result of the invisible world. And the invisible world, which is the world Einstein worked and spoke of, is the world of energy. And everything in the universe is just energy. And energy is the movement of life. So when we're up on the mechanical world, paying the mortgages and working, we're in that kind of mechanical world, swimming along on that top part. But actually, there is a deeper world, the one that we talked about sitting around the fire, that we stand in that one and we get caught up in the other one. So constellation work allows us to drop out of that and come down into that deeper world, which actually, when we get that deeper world in alignment, the physical one works a lot better because the two are a reflection of each other.
We are all part of a system. We born in a system, and then we build system. We join system. And all those systems actually have something in common. They are principles. And we live in a universe that is ruled by love and order. And systemically, we see that when we apply those two rules, then things work better. It's a therapeutic philosophy, constellation. And I'm sure that and if you have a lot of podcasts with people in constellation, they all say the same. It's very interesting the way it came along to Ellinger, that was a priest and a missionary, and went to Africa to work with the Zulu. Very interestingly enough, I would not say by chance, because nothing happens by chance. Zulu means cosmos, and in the cosmos, in the the constellation, why is it called this? Because like stars, people move. You see, and we are loyal. Therefore, we have a tendency to carry some trauma, may they be generational, cultural, societal, and we're not aware of it.
Now, when you say people represent, they don't really know what representing is. And representing is basically a heart or soul connection to the person that you're representing, and you actually get their thoughts. And that happened to me in 2009. Like I was standing in front of a woman, and I had to say to her, I loved you so much. But to me, I didn't even know who this lady was. So why was I saying I loved you so much? And that's what came out of my mouth. And Margarita goes, yes. And she was wrapped because that sort of helped the constellation. So that was my first sort of look into that, with somebody else is using me as like a conduit.
Yeah.
Yeah. To explain it to people, sometimes it's hard for them to realize what it is all about. And once they step into that and they realize, some of them actually get a little bit addicted to that, and they come and they come and they come and they represent because it is.
For me, it's big. Like, I think we don't know, like, what is being a human being. We really don't end up understanding what we are. It finished here. It finished with our family system. Where do we stop being a human being? And I think in the family constellation, what we see is that. And I think that's why for me was like my goal to do in life, the thing that I know that I have to do in life, because it's like the more spiritual, but also factical thing in the life.
Firstly, I say it's very difficult to describe the work. It needs to be experienced. And we're very used to our cognitive abilities and our thinking abilities, and the desire to describe is quite strong. So it is good to assert that our felt experience is also quite valid. So to experience the work is the best way to understand the work. But I would describe it as a therapeutic modality that helps us to move beyond the stories and the narratives that we've been handed down or that we've created ourselves, and to understand more about the energetic dynamics that are affecting the relationships within our families, and to be able to accept with respect what is.
I tend to say it's a modality where you can bring to light hidden dynamics. Yeah, and with the hidden dynamics, you then have a chance to work on issues. I usually invite them to kind of feel it, and also I emphasize the systemic part that some modalities look at systemic connections, but I really, really believe in systemic connections. If you want to work with a child which has issues at school, you can't just look at the child. You have to look at the system the child is in, which is the family and others. And so this work is a really great tool. Have a look deeper into the systems.
It's a practice that helps you discover unseen blockages and gives you tools to release them so that you can embrace a joyful and more peaceful life.
I would describe family constellations as being a different therapeutic approach. Rather than the focus being on how we feel about something, the focus is really on what happened and what's important, who's missing, who belongs. And it's a way of looking at our entanglements with other individuals within the family system, and also any hidden loyalties that we might have. So, for example, it takes a very courageous child to be happier than their own parents. And what we often see in family constellation work, when the work comes to life and the events are placed in the constellation, such as the migration of our grandparents, or the Second World War, or some other event, or the death of your grandmother's firstborn child, etc. Once we create the picture of that in terms of representatives standing in to represent, then the feelings of the client become very, very clear.
It's a method that deals with transgenerational inheritance of trauma. You may have a problem in your life, and you may have tried all kinds of different therapies or things to try to fix it or get rid of it or change, and nothing moves. Because what could be is that it didn't start with you, and that you are entangled with some ancestor. It could just simply be one of your parents, or it could be someone 10 generations ago that you would have no knowledge of. And they have some unresolved trauma that's sitting there, and you are entangled with it. So you're acting it out. You are carrying it for them.
I would describe it as a journey back home to our roots, to reclaim what belongs to us and to leave behind what doesn't suit, and to reconnect really with our pure essence and our full potential.
Thank you for listening. Head over to Instagram and tell me what's resonated for you with this episode. You'll find me at tracy.cartwright. That's Tracy with no E. .cartwright. Or head over to my website, tracycartwright.co.nz, and receive a free audio with the gift from your ancestors. So until next time, be kind to yourself and have fun doing it.